never faze me. They watch the steps that I be taking. That's why they say that I'm amazing. Been the top dog before the nonsense. I've always been a public figure. Now the frame didn't got too big cause more people wanna get up in it.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm your host, John Madsen. This is the show. Today, we're going to talk about the 5 toxic fitness habits sabotage high performers. And the reason I say high performers and not everybody is because not everybody is a high performer. There's some people that are not listening to this show, or if you are one of these people, you probably won't like this show. There's some people who don't really care about winning. Now, I don't know who you are because everybody in my world loves to win. And if you're listening to this show, it means that you love to win, and it means that you desire high performance. Now, whether or not you're crushing the business game or you're crushing the fitness game, there's a desire for this high performance lifestyle. There's a competitive edge that you have that's been built into your DNA. And so that's why we connect. And so the reason there's a difference when it comes to fitness is because high performers have different lifestyles. High performers have tighter schedules. High performers have other priorities. There are certain people out there that I know or that I could go to the gym and spot really easily that spend all day in the gym. So they might not be high performance in other areas of their life, so they can afford to spend 3 hours a day on their fitness. If you're a high performer, that would be a giant waste of time, because if you're anything like me, you're a parent, you're husband or wife, or you're interested in winning in business, you're a provider, and you have certain priorities that you want to be great at in addition to fitness. And so if there's a gym bro out there that just wants to go out there and win bodybuilding competitions, that's not really what I'm talking about here. And so knowing that I have the right person, because we do this show every single week, I know that as high performers, there's toxic habits that I see in people that sabotage their fitness every single day. Now, the cool part about this is in my business, Supra Human, where we have over 500 active members across the United States in our one-on-one custom coaching program when it comes to nutrition, diet, fitness, lifestyle. We've literally coached thousands of people through our process. And the cool part about it is once you go through our process, you don't need us forever. Now, we have some people that have been with us for going on 3 years. I just had one guy text me, he hit 700 workouts. That's not 700 days in a row. That's 700 workouts. I would have nobody work out 7 times a week, but 700 workouts. Let's just say that this guy on average is hitting 4 workouts per week. He's been in the program for 3 years or so. And the consistency and the resiliency and his body and his fitness level would blow your mind. But he does that because he loves the straight and narrow path. He loves accountability. He loves having a coach in areas that are extremely important to him. Now, that doesn't mean that every person that comes through my pipeline has to be with us for 3 years. What we do, and it's my goal, is to teach you how to fish for a lifetime. It's how to win in fitness easily and automatically. It's to get the most mind-blowing transformation so that every time you go to dinner with friends that haven't seen you in a long time, they literally can't believe what their eyes are seeing, and their minds are completely blown as you look like a completely different person. And not only look like a completely different person, you're not ordering chicken and broccoli, you're enjoying nice ribeye cut with a glass of wine. And so your friends are going to be like, tell me more. And you're going to be like, well, I joined this program and I lost X amount of weight and I look like a freaking savage now. And I can manipulate my body composition on demand. And I did it in a way that didn't screw up my metabolism or hormones. I did it in a way that was very efficient for my lifestyle and didn't take any more time away from my business or any more time away from my family. And I did it in a way that I have this understanding that nobody can take away from me. So thank you, John. Thank you, Team Supra Human. Love you guys. Was with you for a year, and now I'm just gonna tell my friends about you because they can't help but to notice every time we go to dinner or every time we go on vacation together, I'm a different person. That's the goal. So with that being said, if you haven't gone through that process and you are a high performer, like I said, I need you to watch out for these 5 toxic fitness habits that sabotage you every single day. The first one that I'm going to talk about is ego. Now, ego is the enemy, especially when you're a high performer in another area, because sometimes you think because you were successful in business, that means you know everything there is to know in fitness. But the truth is, a lot of you are struggling right now because you think you know what to do, but you don't actually know what to do. So there's this thinking pattern that's like, oh yeah, like this is, I know how to do this. I'm just going to cut out carbs, or I'm going to intermittent fast, or I'm going to go buy this Peloton. And so you think that you have this understanding, and what's happening is you're not efficient because your energy is getting placed into the places that don't yield an efficient result. And so for us, the reason we work with high performers is because, look, I don't work out 7 days a week. I don't do 2-a-days. I don't do any of the dumb shit you see people doing. I work out 4 times a week for an hour every single week. I work out Mondays, Tuesdays, I take a rest on Wednesdays, I work out Thursdays and Fridays, and I rest on the weekends. And so the way that we do fitness takes 4 hours in a week, and a couple more hours in preparation and not very much time at all once this seeps into the way that you see yourself and it becomes a part of you. But let's just say that there's 168 hours in a week. We take 4 of those and we dedicate those to doing work on your body. And so the very first toxic habit, though, for high performance is this ego, where they think they know what to do, but they don't. I would place literally 90% of people. Why? Because you didn't put the time and energy and do the research, and it's not your expertise, right? And so fitness is our expertise, and not only mine. Like, I've been in the fitness industry for over 10 years, but the coaches and the people we have in place, literally we have, I can't even add up all the years of experience where we've dedicated our lives to this. And so it's not crazy to think that if you've read a couple magazine articles, or, you follow a couple people on Instagram, you have this idea that you know what to do, but it's like completely out of your zone of genius. Therefore, you need to check your ego and understand that if you don't look into the mirror right now today and see a person who's living in excellent, I'm not talking about mediocre, excellent health, that it's very probable that you think you know what you're doing, but you don't. And so the second, which leads me to the second toxic habit for high performers when it comes to their fitness, is delusion. And this one is actually a big one, because I don't know if you've ever seen, like I've seen before, where I used to have a gym in Salt Lake City where I trained high school athletes. And a lot of times parents would come in and they'd sign their kids up and they'd say, like, you know what, like my kid's not getting playing time, John. The coach doesn't like him. And, I want to put him out, like, we're going to work on his speed a little bit. I need him to get a little bit faster, but you know what? He's the best athlete on the team, and he doesn't play because the coach doesn't like him. And then what I would see in the first 5 minutes when they warmed up is the kid, like, literally was not a good athlete. And this happened over and over and over again. I started to think, I'm like, these parents must be delusional. And at this point, I wasn't a parent. And so I'm like, I wonder if you just have these like goggles where you can't see the truth when you're looking at your own kid. And the reason I bring that up is because I used to do these sales calls with people who were doing consults, and we'd be on the phone and I'd go over stats like, okay, like how old are you? What's your body weight? How tall are you? And dudes would be like, I'm 5'10", I'm 40 years old and I weigh 225 pounds, but I'm in pretty good shape, man. Like I got a lot of muscle. And I could see on their face, like, that dude, like, you can't trick me. I've been in the fitness industry for a dozen years, right? And I'd ask them a simple question. I'm like, if you took your shirt off right now, would you have a 6-pack? And they're like, oh yeah, like, well, maybe like 2 or 4. I'm like, take your shirt off right now. I do this on sales calls, right? Because I'm gonna call you out. And so one of the most toxic habits I see in high performers is they have these goggles that don't allow them to see the truth. Like they walk around and they think they're in good shape because they're riding their Pelotons, or they're doing some yoga classes, or they're, running in some 5K races, and they're trying to eat clean, but they're delusional about how their body actually looks and what kind of performance they actually have. And so this one has an easy antidote, and I'll just give it to you right now. If you're wondering if you're delusional, all you have to do is tonight, when you go into the bathroom, you walk up the stairs, you take off your clothes or you take off your shirt, and you just snap a picture, and you look at the picture and then send it to your spouse. That's it. And if you're living in this superior fitness, that'll be a fun exercise for you. But if you're wondering if you're delusional or not, all you have to do is go snap that picture, because I know you guys listening and watching, like hopefully if you've listened and watched for a long time, like you're on the path. Right? Maybe you're not there yet, but you can see with your own eyes that like there's massive improvements that have been made and you are making. But if you're new here, and this is one of the first things you've heard me say, I would check you, because so many people in this category are so busy pursuing things that are important to them, like money and winning the business game, that they're delusional about their own health until something snaps them awake. And so what I'm saying is you can do that for yourself. If you're listening to the show, I'm interested in being elite in your fitness along with your business, not one or the other. The third toxic habit is you have an unhealthy relationship with vanity. And so I see this one all the time too. Like a person at a certain point comes in, they're not delusional anymore, but they're like, I'm ready to make a change. Awesome. Why do you want to do this? Well, because you know what? I just kind of want to get healthy, man. Like it's not about the looks. Like I don't really care what I look like. I just want to feel better. I want to be healthy for my family. It's like, cool. By that answer alone, there's no emotion. Therefore, there's no drive at the unconscious level. And so a lot of times people are afraid to just admit what they want. People are afraid to just come out and say, look, man, I've been working out. I let myself go a little bit. I don't like what I see in the mirror. Like I want to, at some point this year, be able to take my shirt off and see a six pack. I want to feel like a savage again. I want to feel like I'm an elite athlete again. And I do care what I look like. And it's not vanity. It's because I have standards of excellence. And if a person comes in with that frame, I know that person is willing to tell themselves the truth. And if they're willing to tell themselves the truth, and if you can't tell like a simple truth, like you just can't admit to yourself that you want to look a certain way, then doing this fitness game is going to be very hard for you, because you're not allowing the truth to come out. The truth will set you free. The fourth toxic habit is your lifestyle is more important than your fitness. And so what this looks like is people will come in, they'll spend a lot of money on their health, they'll spend time, they'll spend energy, yet their lifestyle is set up so that they travel all the time. And when they travel all the time, they have to go entertain people at dinners. And when they go entertain people at dinners, everybody around them drink bottles of wine or cocktails. They get large steaks, and they've never dialed in their fitness enough to understand how to strip fat off their body. And so therefore, when they're home or their routine is set, it's like they do the stuff the best they can, but it's always 2 steps forward, 2 steps backwards, because their lifestyle is something they're not willing to give up. They're not willing to give up temporarily those entertainment dinners where when everybody else around them is slugging bottles of wine, they ask for sparkling water. They're not willing to give up temporarily when they go to those dinners that they can't just eat all the appetizers and have dessert. They got to control their intake. And so what happens is these people will say what is a priority, but their behavior will say otherwise. And so one of the most toxic habits for high performers is that they value their lifestyle and their identity more so than they do their fitness goals. And then number 5 toxic fitness habit that entrepreneurs, CEOs, high performers, and leaders do all the time is they play really stupid games to win really stupid medals. And what I mean by that is they get in these modes where they want to test their own mental toughness, right? It's like, I'm gonna do fitness, but I'm gonna do it in a way that's the most painful way that I can possibly think of to do it, because if I do it in this painful way, that means I'm more mentally tough than, my coworker or my friends. And so I'm gonna do something that has me doing 2-a-days for 75 days. And if I quit once, I gotta start over because I'm not mentally tough enough. And it's like, cool, bro. Like, so you gotta prove to yourself how mentally tough you are to win a medal that doesn't exist. And so I watch these people all the time because I go to conferences and I'm surrounded by people who think this way. And it's like, they're wrestling with themselves because they think that they're gonna fail and be a complete failure if they don't do something that's completely difficult. And it's like, there's an easier way, and it's called understanding first. Actually completing a goal will tell me way more about your mental toughness than just seeing how disciplined you can be. And so they have like their goals backwards in a sense. The goal to be the most mentally tough person alive is counterproductive to just living your life in a way that's more effortless. And so some people might hear this and they're like, man, I've never heard it said this way, John. Like, I've been like grinding and like I pride myself on grinding. I pride myself on being the hardest mother freaking worker in the room. I pride myself on being the guy who's never quit. And it's like, what I do is I just say, you can have all that, because the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to work out 4 times a week. I'm going to get 10,000 steps. I'm going to know how many calories and protein I should consume. I'm going to make sure that I'm hydrated. I'm going to sleep 7 hours a night. I'm going to love my wife and my kid, and I'm going to have fun. And I'm going to walk around 365 days of the year with bricks for abs. I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going to take off my shirt. I'm going to blow people's minds. I'm going to have a wife that's always attracted to me and wants to chase me around. And I'm going to do that in a way that's effective. And I'm going to win that medal. So you can have your difficulty medal over here. In fact, I'll even like frame it for you, and you can dub yourself the toughest person that ever walked this planet. And if you go on vacation with me, you're going to be very, very, very disappointed, because that energy expenditure still has you far from being in excellent physical shape. So those are the 5. I'll repeat them one more time, and then I'm going to tell you 3 things that you can do right now to get lights out shredded faster than you could ever believe. So the first toxic fitness habit that I talked about was ego. The second one is delusion. The third one is an unhealthy relationship with vanity. The fourth one is your lifestyle is more important to you than your health. Your fifth one is that you play stupid games to win stupid medals. And now for the grand finale, and I'll tie this thing up, is that there's 3 things that you can do right now to change that. And if you were to change it, fitness would become something that is natural, easy, and automatic. Number 1, stop lying to yourself. Like I said earlier, go up, no matter who you are, take off your shirt, snap a picture, and just be honest with yourself. Take those goggles off and just look at yourself and just ask yourself one question. Is this the reflection of the most elite version of me? And if it's not, cool. Just start there. Tell yourself the truth. Now you're on the path, but no more lies. Number 2, connect to your motivation. You see, motivation is something that people don't like. I've done multiple podcast episodes on this, but if you don't have a motive to do something, you're not going to do it. That's why if someone commits a crime, what's the first thing that people are looking for? A motive. Now, the motive might be crazy, it might be bad, but it's like no matter what a person does, there's actually motive for that behavior. And so fitness is no different. If you have no motive to be ridiculously fit, then you're not going to do what it takes to be ridiculously fit. If you just kind of want to do it because, you think you should, or, your doctor told you to, or you think you want to, be a little bit healthier, there's no motive to do what it's going to take. And so you have to connect to that. You have to figure out what that is. I'll do other episodes on that. Number 3, the best thing you can do is follow a plan. Too many times I go to the gym, you see the same people that look the same month after month, year after year, and at least they're there, right? They're staying somewhere in the middle. But if they were to follow a plan and be held accountable to the plan, they would shorten the duration from living somewhere in the middle of mediocrity to being elite. And it would blow their mind how fast that would occur if they had an intelligent plan to follow. If you like the show, please comment on it. Leave a 5-star review if you got value from it. If it's your first time, share it with a friend. And if you've been a long time listener, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate all the support. It's because of you the show is growing, and it is where it is. Connect with me on Instagram at John Madsen Official. Love to hear your thoughts, and we'll see you next time.